Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's move on to lesson 3 of Learn Russian. We're talking now about nationality, asking where are you from, and we're learning some of the first verbs that we will learn in Russian. The subtitle here is Откуда вы? Вы говорите по-русски? Which means where are you from? Do you speak Russian? Well, we don't really yet, but perhaps we will someday. So in this lesson, we will learn to say what country you come from, what your nationality is, and what language you speak. Key phrases. Я из Англии. So я из means I am from. Angli is England, or actually it's Anglia, I think, but Angli is an inflected form. Я Anglichanin, which means that's you're an English English person, English citizen, and я говорю по-английски, I speak English. Also, you'll find an introduction to Russian verbs. So here we go. All right, activity 1. Listen and слушайте и читайте. Listen and read. Listen and choose the correct answer.
Здравствуйте.
Добрый день.
Как вас зовут?
Меня зовут Филипп. А вас?
Меня зовут Катя.
Очень приятно. Вы студентка?
Нет, я работаю. Я журналистка. А вы работаете?
Нет, я не работаю. Я студент.
Откуда вы?
Я из Германии. А вы?
А я из России.
Вы говорите по-английски?
Я чуть-чуть говорю по-английски.
Okay. I don't know how difficult it is for you folks to pick up the dialogues at this point in time. It can be pretty challenging if you're not. I know that for many people, I think most people who are learning like this through websites probably find it more difficult to pick up things through listening than through reading. I mean, reading you can kind of work your way through. If you don't know what a particular word is, you can look it up. But listening can be very difficult if you're just getting started. I'm fortunate in that I understood what they were saying because they were speaking pretty clearly and the words they were using were pretty simple, but I'm not sure how easy or difficult it is for you folks. I'm going to go ahead and listen to it again, but first let's look at the questions. The questions say, Откуда Филипп? So where is Philip from? The options are he's from Russia, he's from Швейцария, which is Switzerland, or he's from Germany, Germany. Interestingly enough, in the Russian language, the country Germany is Germania, but the German language is Немецкий. Don't know why. And then where is Katya from? She is from France, is Franci. She's from Russia, is России. Or she's from England, is Angli. And here we see a wonderful example of how terse you can make questions and statements in Russian. This just says Филипп работает, so it means does Philip work? But instead of saying anything like does, it just says Philip work or Philip works. So does Philip work? No, he is a student. Yes, he works. Or yes, he is a teacher. Yes, remember that from the first lesson. Преподаватель. So we have the options of I find it amusing that these two seem to contradict each other. Yes, he works, or yes, he's a teacher, because teachers don't work. I realize that's not what it means. It just sort of seems like these are mutually exclusive, even though obviously if he is a teacher, then yes, he also works. But I guess the point is that if he says, yes, I work, but it doesn't specify what job he has, then you choose this option. But if he specifically said that he's a teacher, then you choose this option. I guess that's the point. It just seems kind of amusing that you have one option for yes, he's a teacher, and one for yes, he works. Okay. Does Katya work? Katya работает? So, yes, she is a journalist. No, she's a student. Or yes, she's an actress. Philip говорит, so Philip speaks по-английски, English, по-испански, Spanish, or по-итальянски, Italian. Katya чуть-чуть говорит. Чуть-чуть is sort of a cute, I guess it's not really cute, it's actually fairly commonly used. It just means a little bit. So, chut-chut, a little bit. I don't think it's something you'd really use in formal settings, but you hear it fairly commonly. Like it's pretty, there are more proper ways to say a little bit, but this is kind of the standard sort of everyday common way of saying a little bit in Russian. So, Katya speaks a little bit По-русски of Russian, по-английски of English, or по-немецки of German. So here is C. По-немецки is in German, meaning in the German language. But again, if you're from Germany, then you are из Германии. So, all right, let's listen to this again and try to go through it piece by piece.
Здравствуйте.
Добрый день.
So she says, здравствуйте. He says, добрый день, good day.
Как вас зовут?
She says, как вас зовут? What is your name in a formal way?
Меня зовут Филипп.
Меня зовут Филипп. My name is Philip.
А вас?
А вас, and you?
Меня зовут Катя.
My name is Katya.
Очень приятно.
Very nice to meet you.
Вы студентка?
So he says, вы студентка? Are you a student? And she says,
Нет, я работаю.
no, I work. So now we see there is a question, does Katya work? So she is not a studentka, she's not a student, so she's either a journalist or an actrice. Let's find out.
Я журналистка.
Okay, there we go. Я журналистка. I am a journalist. So that answers that question right there. And now it's selected. So, okay, I don't think we need to worry about that anymore.
А вы работаете?
And then she says, а вы работаете? And do you work?
Нет, я не работаю. Я
No, I don't work.
студент.
Я студент. Okay, so he is a student. So does Philip work? Нет, он студент. He is a student.
Откуда вы?
Откуда вы? And that is now this relevant question, where are you from?
Я из Германии.
Я из Германии. Okay, so he is from Germany. I'm not sure if this graphic here is meant to represent a sort of stereotypical looking German fellow. I mean, I guess he could be from anywhere. Not sure if this is how Russians picture Germans in their mind when they think of Germans. But anyway, okay, he is Германии. And where is Katya from?
А вы?
А я
So he says, а вы, and you?
из России.
Я из России. Okay, so she is из России. She is from Russia. And so we've answered now questions 1 through 4. We have only questions 5 and 6 at the end.
Вы говорите по-английски?
So he says, вы говорите по-английски? Do you speak English?
Я чуть-чуть говорю по-английски.
Okay, so she says, чуть-чуть. Yeah, говорю чуть-чуть по-английски. So she speaks a little bit of English. And the missing question then is, what does Philip speak? I'm going to, does he explicitly say that he speaks English? I don't think, unless I missed it, I don't think he explicitly says that he speaks English, but I'm going to assume that his Russian is not very good. I mean, obviously they're speaking in Russian. I'm going to assume that Philip's Russian is not very good, and he's assuming that Katya doesn't speak German, so he's asking her if she speaks English so they can communicate in English. So I'm going to assume, since Spanish and Italian were not mentioned at all, I'm going to assume that English is the correct option here. And yes, and that was correct because there's a check mark here. So we finished that exercise. Okay, so obviously each country in Russian has a name in Russian. Often these names are very similar to the English names. For example, Argentina, as you can see here, is Argentina. Not so hard. Australia is Australia. England is Anglia. America is America, or США, which is the short for the Russian abbreviation of Soyuz of, what does the sh stand for? Of America or something like that. But anyway, yeah, USA is США. People often just say Sesha. Russia is Россия. China is Китай. So like I said, obviously every country has its own name in Russian, and then each nationality also has its own name. So for example, a Chinese person is a Kitaец, a English person is a Anglichanin, and an American is an Amerikanец. But we don't need to go through the whole list right now. Let's move on to exercise number 2. This, okay, this should be fairly easy because they are really using very stereotypical representations of the people from these countries. So you want to kind of get an idea of where these people are from. So these guys are obviously wearing these German-style hats. Looks like they're wearing, well, you can't see their lederhosen, but I'm assuming they would be wearing lederhosen if you could see the bottom. But this is the Brandenburger Tor in Berlin. So, and this guy's holding a beer Bierstein. So they're very obviously stereotypical Germans. So I'll say these people are they're East Germany. That's pretty obvious. And then, of course, bullfighting. Well, what country is associated with bullfighting? This guy's name is Juan. He's holding a red cape and a bull is charging at him. He's obviously from, he's Hispania, from Spain. Spain in Spanish is España, and many languages use variations on that. So again, in Russian, it's Hispanie. These two guys, okay, this is a bit trickier if you don't, yeah, they obviously live in a mountainous country. I guess it's not too hard to figure out that they are from Switzerland if you look at the choices here, but it's not really necessarily very obvious because their hats could also be construed as German style hats. They do look kind of German. They're not that different from the German guys we saw before, but obviously the Brandenburger Tor, where the other guys were, that's in Berlin, so that couldn't be in any other country. And so a process of elimination with the countries that we have left, these guys must be Swiss. In is Schweizeri, from Switzerland. And again, very stereotypical sort of Asian architecture and Asian style hat, because obviously every person in Asia wears exactly this type of hat. Ooh, is this person supposed to be from China or Japan? I actually don't know what stereotype they're... Hold on. Let's skip ahead a bit to see. Okay, here we go. This is obviously Japan because that's the Japanese flag. So then this must be then China. So is Kitaya. This person is from China. Lorenzo. Okay, this is very obviously Italy because you have the Leaning Tower of Pisa with the Italian flag on it. So this person is Italy. Molto bueno. And here we have Steve. Again, I suppose this may be how Russians imagine Americans in their mind. A somewhat plus-sized gentleman in jeans, a t-shirt, and a neckbeard. They perhaps are not being very kind to Americans in the representation here, but if the appearance of the gentleman didn't make it obvious enough, then obviously the presence of the Statue of Liberty here should make it very clear that this gentleman is American. Yes, I apologize to any Americans that may have been offended. Actually, I apologize in general for anyone that may be offended by these stereotypes. I know these are kind of ridiculous, but then again, Russia is not necessarily a country that's world-renowned for its cultural sensitivity, so I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just that is the Russian culture. They are not always especially sensitive about matters of stereotyping. So, okay, this is obviously is Yaponi. Yapon is Japan. Sumiko is probably this woman's name. I don't know what kind of face that is she's making. It looks like she's either very cold or maybe she's smiling, but that's it's like no smile I've seen. Anyway, obviously this is France, the Eiffel Tower, and yes, all French people are women in berets walking tiny dogs. The name is Jacqueline, so okay. Anyway, is Francie from France. Anna and Vladimir are from Russia, obviously. That's probably St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow there. And finally, by process of elimination, Jane is from Angli, from England. All right, there we go. That was not too difficult. The stereotypes make it pretty obvious in most cases what country those people are supposed to be from. All right, and here we have another dialogue. In fact, we have two dialogues. So let's listen to the first one about apparently two people at a bus stop.
Здравствуйте.
Добрый день. Как вас зовут?
Меня зовут Роберт. А вас?
Эмма. Очень приятно. Откуда вы?
Из Америки. А вы?
Я из Австралии.
Okay, pretty straightforward. So you have this gentleman who is from America and this woman who's from Australia, and they speak to each other in Russian, because that's the logical thing to do. If an American and an Australian meet, the first thing they're going to do is speak Russian to each other. That just makes sense, doesn't it? All right, anyway, so Emma asked, Откуда вы? Where are you from? And he answered simply, from America. Из Америки. And then she is from Australia. Я из Австралии. Okay. Second dialogue. This looks a bit saucy here. This looks like Again, a very, very stereotypical sort of image of some basic guy talking to a. Okay, anyway, let's just hear the dialogue.
Ты говоришь по-испански?
Нет, я из Америки. Я говорю по-английски и чуть-чуть по-русски. А ты откуда? Из Испании?
Нет, я из Мексики.
So, she asks, "Do you speak Spanish?" And he says, "Нет, я из Америки. I am from America. I speak English and a little bit of Russian because this is very so often the case in America. Hardly anybody in America speaks Russian, but all speak Spanish. Hardly any Americans speak Spanish, but they all speak Russian. That certainly our reality that we live in. And а ты откуда? So he says, and you are from where? And then he guesses from Spain, and she explains, no, I am from Mexico. All right, fair enough. That wasn't too difficult, I guess. And here we go. More of dragging words, but now there are no audio dialogues. We just have to fill in the blanks. So, Juan is Hispani. Juan is from Spain. Он говорит по-испански. He speaks Spanish. Okay. Charles is from somewhere. He speaks English. So that would make sense that he's either from England or America. And since I don't see America in the list of options here on the right, I'm going to assume the logical choice is Angli. He's the country, if it's not already clear, by the way, Angli is an inflected form. So Anglia is the name of England, but if you say you're from England, then you'd say, yeah, is Angli. We'll talk more about cases and stuff like that later, I'm sure, but for now, don't worry too much about it. So Charles is from England. He speaks English. Francesca y Laura is Italy. So Francesca and Laura are from Italy. Они говорят по-итальянски. Maria is, okay, if she speaks Russian, I guess logically she's from Russia. Of course, people not from Russia could also speak Russian, but here we keep it simple. Maria из России, она говорит по-русски. Eva из Германии, она говорит по-немецки. In many languages, the country Germany is called Немчи or something similar to that, but in Russian they use the German root for the or actually I guess kind of English root for the name of the country, but then the Slavic root for the name of the language. Bit of a, okay. Hunli is, okay, it doesn't say the country or the language that Hunli speaks, but with a name like Hunli, we can probably assume that they are Chinese. Oh, and actually, China is the last country available here, so, okay. So, Hunli is Kitaya. Он говорит по-китайски. And then from here it's pretty straightforward. Jacqueline is Франции. Он говорит по-французски. In French. Marcus is Германии. Он говорит, once again, по-немецки. And then Philip is Toronto. Он говорит по-английски. Toronto, of course, being a city in Canada, in the English-speaking part of Canada. Okay. Слушаем аудио, читаем текст. Listen to the audio and read the text. And okay, it says that there. All right, so this is a somewhat longer spoken portion with words here. So let's try to fill this in as we go so we don't have to listen to it twice.
Привет. Меня зовут Карлос.
Okay. Привет, меня зовут Carlos. Hi, my name is Carlos.
Я из Финляндии.
Я из Финляндии. Yes, here we go. Is Finlandi. He is from Finland. And Russians all love Finland. I don't know why. Russians have a strange sort of fascination with Finland, maybe because Finland beat them in the war. It seems like Russians, the favorite countries of Russians are the countries that somehow defeated them in a war. Don't ask me why.
Мой папа испанец.
Ah, mой папа испанец. So his father is Spanish. Yes. Мой папа испанец. Его зовут
Его зовут Хосе.
Jose. So Jose. He says Jose, but obviously in Spanish it's Jose.
Моя мама финка.
Moja mama Finka. So a Finn, a Finnish, a female Finnish, a Finnish woman.
Ее зовут Тави.
Ее зовут Tavi. So his mother is a Finn named Tavi.
Моя жена шведка. Ее зовут Ульрика.
Okay, so my wife is a Swede and her name is Ulrika. Okay, seems reasonable so far.
У нас есть дочь. Ее зовут Анна.
And we have a daughter, her name is Anna.
Дома мы говорим по-фински.
Okay, дома мы говорим по-фински. So at home we speak in Finnish. Or in the Finnish language.
А еще я говорю по-испански,
But still I speak по-испански in Spanish, по-английски in English, по-шведски и немного
по-английски, по-шведски и немного по-русски.
и немного по-русски, and a little bit of Russian. This is the more proper way to say чуть-чуть. So чуть-чуть means a little bit. Немного means also a little bit. So много in Russian means a lot or a lot of. And немного means not a lot of, so a little bit of. So he speaks немного по-русски, a little bit of Russian.
Я экономист.
I am an economist.
Сейчас я работаю в фирме.
Today I work in a firm, in a company.
Мой брат тоже работает здесь.
My brother also works here.
Он вице-директор.
He is a vice director.
Это большая фирма.
It is a big company.
Мы делаем дома.
We do house. I believe this means we build houses. This is kind of like this is a common thing actually in languages. In French, the French verb faire means both to make and to do, and the same is true in German. The German verb machen is the same thing. So I think that usually when you say мы делаем, it means we are doing, but I believe in this case he means we build houses.
Все знают, что финские дома очень хорошие и качественные.
Everyone knows that Finnish houses are very good and okay, I don't know this word. I will admit I have no idea what this word is, so if you're curious, you can look it up.
У нас есть партнеры из России
Okay, we have partners из России, from Russia,
из Италии,
из Италии, okay, from Italy,
из Китая,
из Китая, from China,
из Германии.
and from Germany. Notice that he doesn't say and at the end. I'll go ahead and put this is the last item here. So yeah, okay, that's it. But notice he says, we have partners from Russia, from Italy, from China, from Germany. In Russian, it is very common to do this. When you're doing lists like this, at the end, you often don't say and. You just say, yeah, we have partners from here, from here, from here. And that's it. That's kind of a... In English, it would sound strange, but in Russian, this is sort of an idiomatic way of doing it.
Мы много работаем, и я думаю, что у нас большие перспективы.
So we work a lot. Literally, we much work. Я думаю, and I think that у нас большие перспективы. We have great perspectives. Or maybe great prospects, great possibilities for the future. Okay. Very nice. Well, it was nice meeting you, Carlos, but let's move on. Oh, no, we're not done. I was just saying let's move on, but no, we're not done with Carlos. Now we have questions. Откуда Carlos? Where is Carlos from? Well, This is always a tricky question when you have these sort of multicultural people because it's not clear. Do they mean, when they say where is he from? Does that mean his ethnic heritage? Because his ethnic heritage is half Spanish, or do they mean where was he born or where does he live now? Well, I guess he says "Ja is Finlandi," so let's go ahead and make it simple and say he's from Finland because I guess he lives in Finland and was born there. Kto on? Who is he? Um, Is he a Finn, a Spaniard, or a Swede? I guess he's a Finn because, yeah, if you're from Finland, then you're a Finn. Okay. On Gevorit, well, he speaks several languages, actually. Do I need to pick all the language? Is this multiple choice? Or, hold on, like, can I actually choose more than one answer? Because obviously, it would make sense that his native language is Finnish, growing up in Finland. But can I choose... Oh yes, I can choose multiple languages. Okay, so let's see. So he speaks, besides Finnish, he speaks Spanish, English, Swedish, and Russian. So Spanish, Swedish, English, and Russian, but not German. Why not? Warum kein Deutsch? Okay. Откуда Jose? From where is Jose? He was yes, Jose was the father of Carlos, and he is from, yeah, he is in Hispaniola, so he is from Spain. Is Hispani. Kto on? He is, yeah, he is Hispaniola. He's from Spain. Откуда Tavi? Tavi is Carlos's mother, and she is, yeah, she is Finka, so she is from Finland. Is Finlandi. Kto ona? She is Finka. Откуда Ulrika? Ulrika was their, was that their daughter? No, their daughter, no, Dodge zовут Anna. Anna is their daughter, so... his wife, excuse me. Duh. His wife is a Swede named Ulrika. So, Ulrika being a Swede would be from Sweden. And yes, she is Шведка. Okay, good. We are done with that. Okay. Now, let's see. Important question. Вы работаете? Do you work?
Вы работаете?
Да, я работаю. Я врач.
Okay. Very simple. This is actually one of the simplest dialogues we've seen, if not the simplest. Do you work? Yes, I work. I'm a doctor. So, да, я... Oh, I see. This is how to... Oh, actually, no, it's not. I was going to say, is this how to conjugate the verbs, but it's not because they're all conjugated for first person. So they're all говорю and работаю. So говорю means I speak, работаю means I work. So, работаю. Okay.
Ты говоришь по-немецки.
Нет, я хорошо говорю только по-английски, а по-немецки я говорю плохо.
Okay. Do you speak German? No, literally, I good speak only English. I'm translating word for word literally there, so obviously it sounds a bit strange. I only speak English well. А по-немецки я говорю плохо. And in German, I speak badly. So she speaks German badly. All right. And finally...
Вы говорите по-французски?
Конечно, я из Франции. А вы говорите по-французски?
Да, я хорошо говорю по-французски и по-английски.
Я не работаю, я студент. А вы?
Я работаю, я программист.
Okay, if you're shocked at the sudden change in the voice acting, I'm just as shocked as you are. The voice actors here had a completely different affect towards their work there. But anyway, okay. Do you speak French? Of course, I'm from France. And do you speak French? Yes, I good... Okay, я хорошо говорю по-французски и по-английски. Literally, I good speak French and English. And then, suddenly things take a dramatic turn, and the other gentleman declares, I do not work. Я не работаю, я студент. I don't work, I'm a student. And you? I work. I am a programmist, a programmer. Wait, what? Wait, what? I missed something somewhere. This is I work only English well. That's wrong. That's not. No, that should have. Okay, I messed up here. I'm sorry. I somehow messed that up. This should be я работаю, and this should be я говорю. Okay, there we go. I don't know why the exercise messed up here, but anyway, it's correct. Now it's correct. Sorry. I hope that wasn't too confusing. Somehow I messed that up there. I'm an idiot. Okay. Oh, look. John Smith. John Smith is having a conversation with Peter Stepanovich. Peter Stepanovich. Okay.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Джон Смит, я из Англии.
Очень приятно. Меня зовут Петр Степанович.
Очень приятно. Наша компьютерная компания работает в Англии. Сейчас мы работаем в России. А вы работаете только в России?
Нет, наши программисты работают в России и в Америке. Работа в Англии – мой новый проект.
Okay. So I hope that this is... Yeah, there's nothing... This is not an exercise, actually. Oh. Oh, I thought we would have to do something with this, but this was actually just a... Okay. I'm not going to dwell on this too long. I hope that the point is clear. So, our computer company works in England. Now I work in Russia. Do you only work in Russia? No, our programmers work in Russia and in America. Work in England is our new project, or my new project. Okay. So here's a very small sort of sub-segment about verb endings. So if the infinitive form of the verb ends in at, like this, then usually say something like я работаю, ты работаешь, and so on. But if it ends in yit, then you don't put an a, you just say я смотрю, ты смотришь, and so on. Okay, here we go. Now we have to fill in the blanks with the correct endings. Okay, this part can get tricky. Let me actually cheat a little bit by pulling up my list because I want to make sure that I don't get anything wrong and lead you folks astray. So, я работаю. So, yeah, you on the end is typical for verbs starting with я, I. Ты, so informal you usually ends in sh with a мягкий знак. So, it's... Sorry, not that, but that, and then that. There we go. And then on and ana, he and she is relatively simple. It just ends in a, where's the, there we go, okay. And then we ends in yim, so there we go, like so. Вы работаете. And then finally, они, they работают. There we go. Did I get something wrong? Oh, up here, this is not работаешь, but работаешь. There we go. Now it's correct. Okay, very good. Guess there's not much more to say about that. This is fairly classical, fairly typical conjugation in Russian. Я ends in you, ты ends in yish, on or она ends in the yit, мы ends in yim, вы ends in yite, and они ends in yut. Okay. Exercise 10, new words. And here we learn some new verbs. These verbs are fairly straightforward, I think. Let's review them. There are only 6 of them. So, думать is to think. Знать means to know. Понимать means to understand. Читать means to read. Слушать means to listen or hear. And говорить means to speak. So, beginning here, I'm going to assume that this woman is speaking. I think she must be, yeah, that must be говорить because that's the only one that would really involve her, like she has a speech bubble coming out of her, so obviously she's speaking. This woman is, I guess she's probably thinking. It looks like she's thinking, so, hold on, let let me leave that for a moment because I think, okay, this one is easy. She's hearing or listening to music, so that's слушать. That's pretty straightforward. And this woman is pointing at the sky and being chased by a creeper, which would mean that she is. I'm also not sure. Hold on. Let's try to sort these out. Okay, this is читать. That's reading. That's obvious. Okay, this woman is thinking. See, it's kind of, I mean, this one is obviously thinking because she has a thought bubble coming out of her. It's kind of complicated because this woman also looks like she's thinking. And then this woman also looks like she's thinking. But I'm pretty sure that this one is supposed to be думать, think, because of the thought bubble. So then we have to kind of decide, is this? So the two verbs we have left are know and understand. Is this woman knowing or understanding? I would think that this woman, because she has this sort of, it's a light bulb moment. It's like when she gets it. So I would think that this woman then understands, and then by process of elimination, this woman knows. But I think, yeah. When I was reviewing these before making this video, I seem to recall that these are actually, I know it's pretty confusing. I think that this woman is actually understanding. Don't ask me why. I mean, there's nothing really about her face that suggests particular understanding. I mean, she's making a fairly neutral face. She's kind of smirking a bit, but okay, I wouldn't look at that and think, oh yeah, that's understanding. This is obviously listening to music, and the other thing with the book, that's obviously reading a book, but this understanding is not really the first conclusion that would come to my mind, but I think that's understanding, and then this woman is knowing. Yes, okay. That would have been confusing if I hadn't reviewed my notes before doing this. So yeah, that's kind of not fair. Okay, we're getting close to the end. We have, looks like 2 more exercises to go, so hang in there, we're getting there. All right, number 7. Put the verbs in brackets into the correct form to complete the sentences. Use the on-screen keyboard. I don't need to use the on-screen keyboard. I have a physical keyboard. Okay. Вот мой друг Джон Смит. Он из Англии, он студент, он не работает. Okay, so what is the conjugation? It's работает. Yeah, it's работает, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's работает. And then она читает, so that's читает. So wait, there we go. Читает. Okay. Они хорошо. So they говорит, it's говорят. Okay, sorry. So yeah, where's the there we go. Говорят. This would be very difficult without some kind of reference, because I'm not sure that are all of these regular verbs. Actually, I guess these are all pretty. I think these are all regular verbs, so they're not too terribly outlandish or exotic in their spelling, but still, it's pretty. This would be pretty difficult to do without doing a bit of research. So, anyway, okay, я не знаю. This is a very standard phrase. Я не знаю means I don't know. So я не знаю. Okay, and я okay, понимать. So я понимаю, right? Я Oops. Я понимаю. That's correct, isn't it? I believe that's correct. Вы говорите по-русски. Do you speak Russian? Вы говорите. That's correct, isn't it? I believe that's correct. I hope I'm not making any mistakes, because again, if I make a single mistake here, then that red exclamation mark is going to show up, and there'll be no way to know what the mistake is, unless I go back and review my notes. But I mean, if I didn't have notes, like if I was doing this from scratch for the first time, it would be really, okay. Мы слушаем, right? Because it's me. I believe that's correct. And then ты знаешь, that, so you know. Ты знаешь. There we go. Wow, I actually got it. Can't believe I actually got it right on the first try. That is surprising. Okay, finally. Actually, I guess we can just read this because we have the text here already, but let's go ahead and play the audio clip.
Фирма. Это Петр. Он программист. Он работает. Это Светлана. Она секретарь. Она думает, что она работает. Это Юля. Она администратор. Она знает, что Светлана не работает. Это Юрий. Он дизайнер. Он слушает радио. Это Иван Васильевич. Он директор. Он читает журнал. Он думает, что они не работают. Только он.
Mm-hmm. Here's a bit of very dry Russian humor. You wouldn't really tell that this is supposed to be funny if you didn't pay attention to the words. So I'll translate very quickly. This is Pyotr. He is a programmer. He is working. That I believe is supposed to be this guy here in the brown shirt. This is Svetlana. She's a secretary. She thinks that she is working. I don't know how she can think she's working. She's very clearly putting on her nail polish or filing her nails or whatever she's doing. This is Yulia. She's an administrator. She knows that Svetlana is not working, hence the sour expression on Yulia's face. This is Yuri. He is a designer. He is listening to the radio. So that must be this guy because he's got headphones on. And then finally, this is Ivan Vasilyevich. He is a director. He is reading a newspaper and he thinks that they do not work, only him. Yes, working hard reading the newspaper there, sir. Okay, write the answers one word. Кто что делает? Who what does? Who's doing what? So, я работаю, okay. Yulia, wait, what are, so the answers are one word. What kind of answers are we supposed to provide here? Oh, I see. We take the words from the text here. We can actually just copy and paste these to keep it simple. So, Yulia знает. If I was really doing this properly, I should type these in, but I think I've already been going on for over 40 minutes, so I think we might be a bit tired at this point. So let's just keep it simple. What does Svetlana do? Svetlana думает. She thinks. Specifically, she thinks that she's working, but okay, this is enough. Svetlana думает. Pyotr, what is Pyotr doing? He is actually working. Он работает. Ivan Vasilyevich, he also думает, but I think they want читает in this case. So он читает, he's reading. And finally, what's Yuri doing? He слушает, he's listening to the radio. Lesson completed. All right. Well, that was a bit lengthy, but I think it was worth it. I hope this was interesting. I hope that you folks found this lesson interesting. I found it very interesting, but maybe just a touch too long. This might be a bit much for one sitting, but this is good. We've learned some verbs. Now we can form kind of sentences in Russian. So, all right, I'll go ahead and stop the video now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Again, I hope that you have enjoyed and been enjoying, and we'll see each other hopefully next time for lesson number 4. Until then, до свидания и пока.